Hi BookTube, I'm here today with my April wrap-up. So let's get into it. The first book I am going to talk about is The Dodecahedron by Paul Glennon. This is a Canadian author. This book is amazing. What it looks like on the surface is just a series of 12 stories, but it is much more than that, in that if you were to take each of the stories and write the title on a dodecahedron, it would be connected somehow to all the other ones that it is touching. So not all of the stories, but the ones that it is touching, either through characters, themes, content, or even just certain words and phrases. It is amazingly done. And I saw someone on Goodreads who actually had the dodecahedron, you know, kind of put together to show how everything's interconnected. And the stories themselves are really cool. I'm just going to tell you about the first one because this is what really gripped me into it. It's about a boy who believes that he can better understand and memorize books by eating them. So yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. Then there's A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. I think hopefully everyone knows about this. It's an amazing movie and story book. So it's a story of this young man who is ultra violent. He goes about raping and hurting people and stealing things, and then gets caught and put into this program that cures him of his violent tendencies. And it's all about kind of like the moral implications of that, as well as the really interesting story that takes place. Yeah. Then I finished book 2 of Jerusalem by Alan Moore. And this one was completely different from book 1. Jerusalem, what is it about? It's about everything. Mostly about Northampton. But it is really like it touches on everything from like math to life and death to religion, poverty to depictions of poverty on TV. Like it's really a all-encompassing book. But more generally, book 1 seemed to be more about short stories of people who lived in Northampton, and book 2 is more of a cohesive story of a gang of kids in the afterlife, and their adventures. And it's really cool, because they can travel through time and, you know, meet all these different characters and people from history and see how, like, certain things in history have an impact on how things are today. Oh, it's really good, and I'm really looking forward to book 3, which is supposedly more challenging than these two. Then I read The Windup Girl by Paolo Bacigalupi, and this was another case of being completely misled as to what I thought this book would be about. But it's definitely not YA. It is definitely adult themed. And it's more about politics and corporations meddling in politics than it is about this not android but not quite human, but not a cyborg girl. And she's more of a side character, I found, than a main character. But I guess the marketing team changed up how they were going to do that. Then I also read The Light Fantastic by Terry Pratchett. I kind of, off the top of my head, decided that I wanted to read all of the Discworld novels in order of publication. You'll notice that I'll be skipping a few because I've already read them. So this month I read The Light Fantastic by Terry Pratchett, which is book 2. It is almost a direct sequel to the first book, Color of Magic, in that we're following Rincewind and Two Flower on their continuing adventures across Discworld. And it's just such a heartwarming and fun read. I just love Terry Pratchett. I also read Waking Gods by Sylvain Novella, which is the second book in the Themis Files. In the first book, Sleeping Giants, humans have discovered this giant robot and are learning how to use it. And in the second book, I can't tell you too much, but it goes past the personal drama into the world stage, or maybe even the universe stage, as things start to go on from the first story. And lastly, the worst book of the month, Night Film by Marisha Pestle. Oh, it failed on every level. The main character was like a sexist, racist bigot who was obsessed with his former wife and completely negligent to his daughter, and obsessed with this filmmaker, and I just can't, I can't I can't find any redeeming qualities of this stupid book. Yeah, it failed on every level, and I have a rant, so I'm not going to rant about it here. I think if you have more than 5 minutes of content to talk about a book, that it should probably be a separate video. And I definitely have more than 5 minutes of ranting and raving about how awful I found that book. So yeah, that's it. That's what I read in April. Let me know what your worst book you read in April was, and thank you for watching.